Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me on today. Oh, wow. I've been really meditating on some stuff today. Um, my baby, she's so happy. And she's doing something that is unusual for her. She's being a little more clingy. And I understand with what we have just came out of and and some other things that she's also dealing with. We have just went through some trauma. We have just went through some trauma. For her to witness someone actually out to get her mother and actually trying to destroy her mother, someone that she loves, it took a toll on her and me. And she always has been a sweet child. All of my children have. She's never gave me problems in school or anything. Never had an ounce of problems out of her. She's just been a joy. And it's really sad, and it's unfair, it's unfortunate, and it's traumatic for anyone's child, to go through something like this. And then for it to be mine makes it even sadder, because no child deserves for someone to come in their life and pretend that they love them when they didn't, only to get financial gain. And it's hard for me to even come to terms with that, because I didn't want to believe it. I did not want to believe that for 3 years I lived with someone who just perpetrated problems and would continue to pick fights. But the puzzle pieces are all fitting together. How he did pick fights with me, and how he would always make up something. And I remember specifically him saying something, and I had said, but you said, he said, I didn't say that. I said such and such. And it was about his medicine, because I was giving him the morning medicine and the evening medicine. And he said I switched it up, and I didn't. I said, well, why don't you just take your own medicine? Then we won't have to worry about this. No, you do it. It was just, everything was all a reason to fight about. And it's just so sad that I'm the one in there fighting for the marriage when it wasn't even no marriage to fight for. I'm married to a con artist, who working a game on me all alone. Because when he got the first call, he went back to the woman. But see, we were married by then. And then when he got tired of her, I'm telling that woman lived right across the street from my job. And I was a bus driver. I would have to see my car sitting over there across the street at that house. And one time he got out the car and stood on the sidewalk and waved at me, honey, in front of the passengers. And it took everything in me, in God, to keep driving that bus. But it was a couple times, I had pulled over and broke down in tears. But I'm telling you something, God done pulled me through, honey. And now, in order to begin change, we have to be the change. When we see that there is a need, we have to pray it forward. We have to be the change. When we see that there is a behavior that needs to be changed, and we can do something about it, we have to be the change. Just like I'm making him pay attention in court financially. It's not about money for me. It never have been about no money for me. And he knew that. I'm in here trying to work on my marriage. I'm in here truly. I married him for the right reason, but he married me for the wrong reasons. And so this is the way I have to be the change. So we have to out the narcissist. I said I'm going to out the narcissist. We're getting ready to out this behavior. We are. And on top of that, we're getting ready to out the narcissist, who admitted to me what I didn't want to believe. He admitted to me, That's what he did. He always used to say, when I file bankruptcy, I'm leaving you. After I file bankruptcy, I'm leaving. I ain't never believed. I'm like, why? Why would he leave me after he filed bankruptcy? He just saying that. He don't mean it. But come to find out, he had a plan, honey. He had this all planned out. He was gonna get the cars, file bankruptcy, start over and leave me financially and emotionally destitute. Me and my baby left us homeless, honey. We were homeless, a month on the street, just kicked to the curb by everybody. When man fell, God prevailed, because God gave us refuge out the storm and blessed us immensely on top of that. Blessings on top of blessings. My baby starting back to smiling, even though now she's going through some counseling. This is traumatic, and I want this man to be stopped, because he's on to the next one. It's a woman just got done texting me, telling me that he done abused her, and then he cheated on her. He ain't even done divorcing me. He got women on top of women, and he on a rampage. He on a warpath, thinking that he can control somebody and use somebody, and admitted to me. He admitted it. So there has been no type of I'm sorry, no type of how you doing, no type of anything. I was cursed out in court. I was called to be in court. He cursed at the judge, and he is getting ready to be outed. I'm going to show you how I was left to live. But that is no more. Me and my baby have been blessed. But I want you to see what the narcissist has done. And that's the part of the spiritual warfare that we're in. I'm telling you. And it is not your people. Because God puts on our heart to love. It is on our heart to love from the time we enter into the world. It is on our heart to love. We know how to love. We look at our parents' eyes and fall in love. That's love. Love. You love your mom and daddy, whoever raised you, your auntie, that's love. And love makes a family, honey. It's love that makes a family. And God is love. And God is what's going to pull us together over this spiritual warfare. That's what's getting ready to dry this hate out. See, because I drove him on out of there. When I told him I wasn't going to turn my back on the grow program, I was going to keep on growing in God and working for the Lord. When I said that, he turned on his heel and walked out. Love drives out hate. So he was out to get me from the beginning, but God. See, God had a plan for me all through my life as I'm going through the oppression, as I'm going through whatever I'm going through all through my life, because all my life it ain't been nothing but tears. All I done went through, all the suffering, nervous breakdowns, one disappointment after another, one letdown after another. I done stepped my foot off in here. I done picked this somebody up. I'm over here dealing with their circumstance and got myself caught up in some circumstances. I'm on this highway of life causing my own traffic jams, messing some stuff up and messed up a whole bunch of stuff. But God, I got the Lord on my side now, so I'm walking in the Lord. I'm no longer a part of the spiritual warfare and never will be a part of the spiritual warfare again. I got rid of my problems. I let go of that foolishness. I no longer want to be a part of that. I don't look to the TV. I don't look to the telephone. I don't look to the foolishness. I don't walk over here and see what they got to say. I don't worry about what they got to do. I worry about what the Lord done put in front of here for me to do. I kept my eyes on the prize. I kept my eyes on the Lord, because I knew, thus said the Lord, the battle is his. It ain't mine. So I let the Lord work out my battle. That foolishness I got myself caught up in, putting somebody over me and my baby. Trusting somebody over me and my baby, when God said, trust me. He said, trust me. Trust me. I should have trusted God, not man. That's where we mess up at. We got to start trusting in God, and trust God. You're going to find God within you. Because he said, by my spirit, Zechariah 4:6, by my spirit, you are a conqueror. That other foolishness where you want to get all off in the spiritual warfare and just say, well, I'm going to keep on messing up because I'm going to be forgiven. But see, what you're doing is you delving on deeper and deeper on into the spiritual warfare. That will take you on up out of here. See, because evil counts us up for slaughter. If you didn't hear that, but evil counts us up for slaughter. See there? So what you got to do, you got to slip on up out of there. Just ease on up out of that. Ease on up out of it. Get on up out of there, because see, misery loves company. It's some people who doing some foolishness that'll love to see you caught up in some foolishness. The spiritual warfare. I know some people of mine, some loved ones who are gone, because the spiritual warfare got them caught up in it and then took them on up out of here with it. That's what the evil does. It's not one devil that's everywhere. It's evil. It's a spiritual warfare that we in. Coming through your people. Coming for your people. And coming for you eventually. If you let it. But what you got to do, you got to let go and let God. Remove yourself from that chaos, negativity, and drama equation. Seriously. You got to get up out of that and start looking to the hills which come to your help. Every opportunity I can. I look to the hills. I look to the Lord. Meditate on God. Meditate it to the Lord. You ain't got to get all down on your knees and beg. I ain't got on my knees in years. I ain't done that in years. But you sit down, you meditate to the Lord, go to a quiet place. Somebody want to get you caught up in some yelling and screaming and foolishness, and want to call you up and tell you about the latest. No, I ain't got time for the latest. See, I want to hear what the Lord got to tell me. See, if you meditate to the Lord, don't put that liquor in your body, but meditate to the Lord, because see, that liquor will lead you to some sneaking thinking. So go over to the window and just look out to the window. Look to the hill. Lord, what should I do? Lord, help me out. Lord, please. Meditate it to God that way, in a positive way. And then God, will work the battle out for you. I'm telling you. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep working toward the Lord, working for the Lord with a forgiving heart, with a pure heart. Because, see, you got to let go of all that grudge. You got to let go of all that unforgiveness, that's one thing. People like to say Jesus and Jesus, but Jesus taught forgiveness. And many of us have not forgiven. It don't mean that you got to still deal with them. Because, see, if you do, then you're going to get caught up again. You have to just let that alone. That's one thing that he told me. He taught me very well how to leave people alone, because he didn't want me to touch on him and hug on him or nothing. He said, stay in my lane, leave him alone, go on about your business. Matter of fact, you can go do you. You can go ahead on and be with who you want. I was like, what kind of mess is this? What kind of marriage is this? What we got going on? See, you didn't say none of this before we got married. See, that's one thing. Somebody want to marry you. Next thing they do is change up the rules. All of a sudden, bam, here you go. We finna do this now. Oh, no, See, you the wife. You supposed to follow up behind what I say. I'm the head. I'm the ruler. Oh, no, you ain't finna rule me over on no foolishness. No, you ain't finna do me like that, partner. I don't think so. See, the queen rose up then, honey. I pulled that weave he wanted me to wear in my hair. I snatched that foolishness out. I started picking out my afro. I painted my face the way I wanted my face painted, see, because he wanted me to walk around looking meek and humble, like a Christian wife. Like I'm falling up behind the foolish leader. The blind lead the blind. He gonna bleed us both down into the dip. Uh-oh, you gonna fall, honey. You ain't pulling me down in there. You gonna fall on over in some foolishness. Because, see, I got a mind. That's one thing the Lord gave me. He gave me a mind, and my mind over anything and over any foolishness that anybody trying to pull over on me. See, because he thought he going to be able to run me and run some other women. You know, it all came out in the end what he was really on. You know, I'm telling you, I went and found some trash, honey. I went and found some trash, and I'm serious. I'm sure you may think I'm playing, but if you on that dating sites, you got to get off of there, because he on there, and he on the warpath. You know, he looking for some kind Christian women that's going to fall into the game, and then he going to run you. He was so mad at that judge that judge didn't divorce us that day, and I was ready to let it go. I said, but you going to give me the down payment for the 3 cars. At least give me that. Yeah, I'm left without nothing. You got all the cars. You know, you got all the furniture. You got everything. I don't care about the furniture, because I don't want nothing to remind me of you anyway. Thank God we ain't got no kids. But you at least gonna give me my greenbacks back, you know, for them 3 down payments of them cars that I paid for. You know, but then when I mentioned my baby, and my baby, you know, what he did, my baby in counseling, the judge said, hold up, wait a minute now, how old is she? I said, she's 16. She was 13 when I met him. And she watched him, pretend to love me. Come to find out he didn't. And now she don't trust nobody no more. You know, and so, I'm telling you, people like this need to be stopped. They need to be stopped. That's why he liked to watch Dateline all the time, because he thought he was going to be on there. You know, I'm telling you, it's been something, honey. It's been something dealing with a narcissist. It really has. And had it not been for God, it would have broke me. Had it not been for God, it would have broke me, honey, because I put everything in my marriage. Come to find out, I don't mean nothing to him. My marriage, I'm trying. Then a life of oppression. Then come to find out, I'm seeing my brother and sister get shot, killed down by the police. We getting shot, hunted down like animals. I don't even mean nothing to the country. I don't even mean nothing to nobody. So, what? But then they found out I mean something to God while I'm over there dealing with them demons. God said, hold up, touch not my anointed. Do not my prophet no harm. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me drive this evil on up out of here and give her the grow program so she can begin to lift others up out the oppression that she was once in. See, I overcame because I stopped doing wrong to myself. I took the oppression out on me, and some of us take the oppression out on others and each other, and all up in this spiritual warfare like that demon over there in that house, But I'm telling you something, we're going to drive this hate to the farthest corners of the world. Love drives out hate. Love drives out hate. It was the message of the freedom fighters, was love. That's their message. And that is the message that we carry forth in God. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. I love you. We are going to defeat this spiritual warfare. We are going to bring it down to its knees. We are going to crumble it. We are going to drive out the hate in the world. We are going to drive it to the farthest corners of the world. Turn the hate into love. If it's flaring up in your marriage, use love instead of hate. Start showing love. Show love to the kids. It'll make them show love. Show love to your spouse. It'll make them show love. Show love to your co-workers, or just leave them alone. Stay away from them, honey. Some folks you just got to stay away from. And if you come back together, it's divine intervention. See, some of them people need to exit your highway of life to never get back on again. Because if they do, they're going to bring you into a spiritual warfare. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. I love you. Let's rise.